Hello, and welcome back to this Tuts Plus course on WooCommerce theme development. In this part of the course, I'm going to give you an overview of what parts of the WooCommerce plugin we're going to be interacting with, which hooks we're going to be hooking into, which functions we're going to use, and also which template files we'll need to look at. And I'm going to match these up to the template files and the pages in my site. Now what you can see here is the final design for the home page of my site and how it will look when everything's complete. And as you can see, I've added some custom content here. Here you can see those images that link to the main product categories. And then here in the sidebar, there are some feature products which are going to be displayed on every page. So let's start by taking a look at the template file that powers the home page, which is the shop, and which hooks in that template file we'll need to be using. So this is the archive product PHP page. What that drives is the main shop page and all of the product category pages. And here it is. Now, to output those images that I showed you, these ones here, we'll be hooking into this action here, WooCommerce before main content. And we'll do that in our themes function file. So we won't actually be copying this archive product template. Instead, we'll be using the actions contained within it and writing functions that are hooked to those actions. So that's how we'll achieve that. We'll also do something similar in the product category page. So this is the clothing page. Now this will be using a slightly different hook, again, in the archive product template file. And this is the hook that we'll be hooking into here, which is WooCommerce archive description. Now what I've done is I've worked through the WooCommerce files and I've worked out how content is being output. And that's output in the description for the product category here, and I'm going to also add an image up here. Moving on from the sidebar, that's actually going to be coded straight into my theme. So looking at my theme template files, it's the sidebar PHP file that I might be working with. Although as my theme uses action hooks for all of the content in the sidebar, I'll actually be writing a function in my functions file and hooking it to this hook here. Now if your theme doesn't have hooks, it just has content in the sidebar.php file, you'll be adding content straight into that file, and I'll show you how to do it. Now let's go back to our store. The next thing we're going to be working on is the individual product page. And here you can see how it's going to look. Now what I'll be doing in this product page is adding some styling, which will be in my theme style sheet. I'll also be writing a function attached to the hook that outputs these related products, because I'll be changing the size of those images. And I won't just be changing the size of the images using CSS, but I'll also be changing what images actually output in these pages. So what I'll need to look at to help me with this, in the WooCommerce template files, is the content single product template file, which basically contains all of the loop and the content for each product. Now that gives me my single product, which is what I can see up here. Now the content for the product itself is output by that template file, but the content down here of these related products is actually output by a different template file, and that template file is called content product. Now in here, I'm going to be using a function that's included within the file. And that function is the WooCommerce template loop product thumbnail function. A bit of a mouthful, I know. Now that function is actually pluggable, which means if I make a copy of that function with the exact same name in my themes function file, that will override the function in WooCommerce. So that's how I'll be achieving that. The next thing I'll be working on is the search page. Now the search page uses the same archive product template that we use for the home page and the product category pages. But the content itself is displayed using different include files depending on whether you find some results or not. So what I'll be doing is looking at the results somebody gets if they don't actually find anything from their search. And the template file used for that can also be found in the WooCommerce templates. And that's in the loop folder. It's called No Products Found. So that file at the moment doesn't contain very much at all. And what we'll be doing when we get onto that is adding some more content to it. The final thing we'll be working on in this course is the checkout. As you can see here, I'm going to be adding some extra text, which doesn't come out of the box with WooCommerce. And here again, I won't be making a copy of the template file, but I'll be hooking into an action that's provided by WooCommerce and writing a function in my themes functions file that hooks into that. That's the form checkout template file that drives that page, and the action that I'm going to be hooking into is this one here, WooCommerce before checkout form. So we'll write a function in our themes functions file that'll add content there. So those are the template files that we need to make reference to while working through this course. Now it's worth bearing in mind that in only one case am I going to actually copy the template file, and that's this no products found file. Because as you can see, this doesn't have any hooks in it. Where there are hooks provided by WooCommerce, I'm going to use functions attached to those hooks instead of making copies of the files, because it's a much tidier way to work. And also where there are hooks provided by my theme, I'm going to hook into those as well. So that gives you an overview of how we're going to work as we go through this course. In the next part of this course, we're going to look at the theme that we're working with in more detail, and I'll take you through the structure of the shop theme before we add the specific WooCommerce content to it, how it works, how it's structured, and how it's styled. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.